All right, the Reds, it's Talking Reds. Good Friday is Talking Reds. With me, Gareth Roberts, Craig Hannan joining me from his bed. In bed with Craig Hannan.
You lucky thing.
It's the content you always wanted. We're going to have a chat about a few things that have happened in the football world last couple of days, and also just where we're all at with it, because it is a month tomorrow since Liverpool played the football match. I'm sure you've all had a bit of a wild month, different month to usual, and all the rest of it. We all know what's going on in the wider world, but it always needs to mention, really, doesn't it? Because it's just so mad. But yeah, I've just been telling Craig, and he didn't know, and I was made up. We'll have a chat about it. Basically, like, if you really just want to watch a little bit of footy that you haven't seen before, they're just still having a game in Belarus, which is absolutely wild. Like, but I mean, the powers that be in Belarus are just like, not asked, carry on. And so, like, you can watch highlights of a game on BBC there. And, like, the fans are being tested for the temperature with them little guns when they're going into the ground. And there's a bit of face mask going on and that kind of thing. But the BBC have done quite a good piece on it. They've got, like, one fan who went and one fan who didn't, and spoke to a player. One of the players is, like, quite funny on it. He's like, well, I've got to play, haven't I? Like, it's my job type of thing. And if it's not called off, I've got to play. And he's like, I think Lionel Messi's probably jealous of me right now. And I was thinking, it's probably not, mate, but yeah, let's go with it. But what's absolutely wild as well, I mean, like, do you know what? It was good, though. Like, I mean, it was only a little highlights thing, because it was new and because it was different. And, like, putting aside, the pandemic and that, and just forgetting about all that for a moment. It's like, go on. And, like, the two good goals there. Like, one's like a little Kenny Dalglish dink in the European Cup final. And he sort of looks as though he's heading towards the advertising hoardings. And I was going, oh, he must be a Red. He knows the Kenny celebration. Jump over the hoardings. And then he doesn't jump over the hoardings, and I'm a bit disappointed. But have you seen the situation in the stands?
Yes, I was hoping you would get to this. This is the bit I wanted to talk about.
Because, as I say, like, some fans are like, how come you're doing this? This is a bit mad. We can read and we can see what's going on in the rest of the world, and we've seen what the World Health Organization say, and etc. So, some of them are staying away. Some of them are saying, well, if they're playing, I'm going because I'm a fan and I want to be there. Some of them have paid for, like, a picture of themselves with a scarf and a hat and stuff, just in the stand.
I think we should just spend the whole time talking about this aspect. So there's a couple of things on this. Imagine, so if football does come back, right, and Liverpool play behind closed doors, is there any way we can get on to, like, Tony Barrett or someone at the club and say, look, right, I know we can't be there, but can you stick Robbo and Craig's face on a little mannequin in the Kop? Can we sort this out?
Little speech bubble coming out to say, get it!
Because I'm gonna message Jordan after this, who'll edit this video, and ask him, can he put a picture of it up, because it's incredible, and you won't believe me, but it's just like 10 fans and then their faces. It's incredible. I mean, clearly the Belarus FA just don't give a fuck, do they? It's like, I'm not laughing at how they're keeping this going, because obviously it's wrong. They should not be playing football at this stage, and obviously they deem it as being safe. But if every other football organisation has said no, it's not safe, I don't see why theirs would be. But you're right. It was quite fun watching highlights, wasn't it? Something fresh that you haven't seen before, and both goals were a belter. I mean, me and you should maybe just become Craig and Robbo's Belarus rap or something. I mean, the name needs work. We'll work on the name later.
Well, what I mean? We could do like a preview show. We could do a post-match pint. We could do the second look.
We can get our faces in the stand.
We could bring it all back. I mean, so the score is that Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has resisted calls for a nationwide lockdown, it says on the BBC, calling fears of the coronavirus epidemic psychosis, and suggesting that vodka or a sauna would help.
Vodka?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
I mean, it's different. It's a different approach. I mean, I think plenty of us think Donald Trump's a bit mad, and his approach to it all is a bit mad. And herd immunity and all that here in the UK is not being the greatest, and herd immunity by stealth some would argue is what's happening right now. But anyway, but it's just it's absolutely wild. And yeah, I mean,
what he's saying is carry on as usual and get more pissed doing it, and that'll help.
essentially, I mean, even the leader of a country sort of pushing vodka is a new one on me. Like, but, we are where we are. I mean, so there you go. Check out the Belarus situation. Have a look at those goals. See what you think. In terms of the Premier League, then, the discussion around what will happen around that rolls on. Something new every day. And one of the things on there today about it is that Premier League clubs are now looking at coronavirus testing machines. Just the idea that they'd be able to test all the players at the training grounds for the virus every day, allow them to monitor them and all the rest of it. And then there's this idea now sort of growing some legs. The EFL been talking about it. Rick Parry there, the chairman's been talking about it. And then some players have been reacting to it as well, interestingly. But they're saying about having almost like a mini pre-season of 2 to 3 weeks and then starting playing again in June before cramming all the games into like a 4 or 5 week period then. The EFL have set out a 56-day schedule to complete the season behind closed doors, including the playoffs. And Paddy wrote, "It's important to reiterate that our primary objective remains to conclude the season when it's safe to resume playing." There's obviously this huge, thing now, huge swell around the idea that it is going to be behind closed doors. And if the pandemic situation allows that, I think we've got to get used to that idea that that's how it's going to be played out. It's going to be on the telly. We're probably going to be having a bevy over Zoom or something while we're watching it. It's not ideal. But, it was making me laugh then when you were saying about, can we get onto Barrett about like pictures of us in the crowd or something? Because I've heard some when it starts off as like a feasible idea and then goes and it gets madder and madder. Like we've discussed this a couple of times now, the idea of behind closed doors. And I don't like the idea because obviously I'm a romantic fan. I've been going for 30 years. I'd love the idea that a crowd could be there. I get why it can't be. But people have been saying, like, couldn't you get, like, isn't there a way you could get loads of fans online and, like, they make a noise and there's, like, speakers around the pitch and all this? And I'm like, that'd be shit.
Imagine you're, like, somewhere around the world, right? And you're watching this game and you think, right, I've missed football so much. I'm going to sit down and watch this. And then you could just hear me and you, but like recorded. Way, get it! You know what I mean? It'd be awful.
Well, yeah, because how would it work? Because you'd almost have to have like someone sitting there with like a soundboard, wouldn't you? So like, like, boo, yay! Fuck off, referee.
I'm not sure about that, to be honest. Like the whole behind closed doors, I'm exactly the same. Like, I would rather wait until it's safe to play football where football's as normal as possible. And obviously that would take a lot longer to do, and there's the financial aspect and so on. It makes that very, very difficult to see happening. The one thing I would say is last week, did you do the Grand National last week? The virtual Grand National?
No, I didn't even know about it. It passed me by and I was with the kids. And then I only found out about it really late. What was funny was, the thing we've been doing, finding a footy fix. So we've got a little mini WhatsApp group with like Kev Walsh, Mo and Connor in, who've been doing it with me. And so it just came into my mind on Saturday. I wonder will they remember to watch it so that we can record it on Monday. So I sent them a message saying, right, boys, are we all right to watch this before Monday? And we'll talk about it Monday. And it was QPR, the 4-year plan, by the way, that we did. Absolute belter of a documentary. And Kev replied to the group saying, not watching the National, no. And he had the rig out on. Have you seen it? Yeah, and then like bills that matched the thing.
So for anyone watching and doesn't know, Kev Walsh, he's on Twitter. I don't know what his @ is, but you'll find him by searching Kevin Walsh. And he obviously does Talking Reds on a Tuesday usually. And
Tuesday.
He's put up he got into his tux, but then on the bottom end of his tux there's no trousers, it's just these boxer shorts that have their own tux on them. It's definitely worth looking at. He put it on his Twitter last night because he was talking about it on AFQ.
It's at Kev Walsh and then an underscore, and even the way he worded that tweet made me laugh again last night. Little glimpse of my racers outfit.
He's a flirt, isn't he? Do you know what though? Like the what the races, sort of the virtual races, made me realize was that, like, for all of 10 minutes, like, I was so excited watching it. Like, it was something completely different than what I'd been doing the previous 3 weeks. It was, it was this event live that people were tweeting about as it happened. But we all, obviously, it's not real, it's virtual, but like, just for the sort of 10-15 minutes, it was loads of fun, even if it
Yeah.
was virtual. And it was just the community aspect. Like, that we've spoken to the Anfield app, talk loads about like what we can do to like just make people laugh as much as possible, and sort of give them an escape. And for 15 minutes, the Grand National was an escape where everyone's talking about it. Everyone had bets. The bets were going to the NHS, so everything, just everything felt great about it. And then, that's, I sort of began to think, well, maybe football behind closed doors is nowhere near perfect, but maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Maybe it coming back in May time, when it's safe for the footballers to play, might be just something else to give us a boost when, I'd say in a month and a half down the line, we are going to begin to be getting stressed out by this if we aren't already. Some of us will be going mad. You did the video about keeping sane during all of this, and this would just be another escape, really. So I am in the camp of, if we can wait as long as possible, and we can be in the stadium for that to happen, because I want to see Jordan Henderson lift the trophy. I want this and that. I want the celebrations afterward, the match day routine about it all. But if this is the worst case scenario, then so be it. My only thing, to be honest with you, I got a little bit like down the other night about the realization that if it does happen behind closed doors, the feeling I'll get at full time, because, like, obviously there'll be the elation that Liverpool have won the league, and that'd be brilliant, and we'll probably be on Zoom calls with each other and so on. But like, I'll probably be a bit upset that, like, it's just through a fucking webcam that this is all happening. Do you know what I mean? That it's through a TV. I know fans around the world will watch the match on a TV, but they'll congregate with their mates in these supporters clubs, and they'll be at their dad's house, or their families will get together to watch this big event happening. But with this, we can't. So it's not even just the not being at the game. It's the, actually, I'm going to be sat with my cat. My cat's not going to give a fuck. And so it was that realization. So I think it's going to be hard either way, unless they do wait sort of 6 months and restart all again, which I just don't see how.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to picture it being anything but behind closed doors now, I think. I mean, you look at sort of the numbers we see on the news every day and all the rest of it, in the general way that they're keeping these numbers down, because that's all they're doing. With the coronavirus in this country, that it's not. There's no attempt to contain it really at the moment. There's still people flying into the country and all things like that, and you just think it's going to be a while. There's no two ways about it. And they've all sort of kicked it into the grass till June now. Scotland announced that their leagues have been pushed back till June now. I think there's another Premier League meeting the end of next week to see what else there is to talk about, really. But yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. I think there's no two ways about it. But you're right to say that. I think, it makes you think about what the role sport plays in people's lives and stuff like that. And look at other sports as well, and the way they're trying to get things back on. I mean, obviously, some of that's driven by finance, but I think I like to think, maybe naively, that some of it's driven by the fact that they know how much it means to people as well. I mean, I know there has been some government involvement in the football discussion, and I do think there is a case there for like the morale of the country to try and get something back on, really. But obviously only when it's safe to do so, and when it's not putting any kind of stress on the NHS. On the NHS, we haven't talked about it, so I think we should. Obviously, we know now, it's been well documented that a group of players have got together to put funds directly into the NHS, led by Jordan Henderson. Some good stuff last night, I thought. I don't know if you've seen it, Craig, from Ben Mee, just sort of saying, it was Henderson that led it. I mean, I think that feels nice in itself, because, he's our captain. He's a Liverpool player. And also, me and John have been fortunate enough to meet him and interview him. He's done other little bits and bobs. And it sort of comes as no surprise to us, I don't think, as Liverpool fans, that Jordan is at the centre of it, because, yes, he'll have a lot of money. Yes, he's a Premier League player, all of those things that have been thrown at them the last few weeks. He's also a working class lad from Sunderland who's proven himself over and over and over to be a sound lad and a thinker as well. So, I think stuff like the whole thing really, the fact that they come together doing what they're doing is A, brilliant, but B, no surprise. And footballers have had a bit of a kick in the last few weeks, and I think it's important to sort of redress the balance really and talk about that. From our experience and from the people we know in media who deal with them and stuff like that. Honestly, like 90% of them are absolutely sound, and it's very rare that you hear about somebody who isn't. I mean, you look at the stuff Marcus Rashford's doing as well. It's not just about Liverpool. It's footballers across the board. A lot of them are doing stuff. I mentioned this before as well, and I think this is important when you got the sort of the criticism of them. Every single footballer's life is different, and their family circumstances are different, and a lot of them do work. Sadio Mane do work back where they come from. Do you know what I mean? Because let's remember, this is a global situation as well, and so I just didn't like it when they were getting knocked so much. I know there's other stuff going on, and there's other members of society who you could be pointing fingers at for me as well. But I was made up when they announced this, and as I say, great that Jordan Henderson was at the centre of it.
Proper leadership, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
it made me dead proud that that not only it was our captain sort of at the forefront and making it happen, but just in general, the amount of footballers that have got on board with it. If you search the hashtag players together on Instagram, you just see all of the footballers that at that time had posted about it, and it's like, it is incredible. And I think you're right. They will have wanted to help, and it's easy to forget that these are young lads who are also in isolation at the moment. It's very hard to get something like this off the ground whenever you actually can't meet or speak to anyone. It all has to be via Zoom, and the fact that Jordan Henderson has been able to make that happen is a credit, and he will have wanted to before even Matt Hancock mentioned it in press conference, which was just opportunity. It was opportunistic. It was deflective, as everyone said. There's no hot takes on that. I think most are in agreement that that was the case from the government even speaking about it twice, actually, the cheeky bastard. But yeah, it's brilliant that they've been able to make it happen, and that's on top of whatever happens with their wages, and it's on top of the stuff that they usually do for charity, because like you say, like Marcus Rashford helps throughout the year and has helped throughout his whole career, and I know he's a United player, but there's little stories that either you hear or you read about online about him that he's done. So he's continually doing this. He's continually putting back into giving back to the community and helping within both the community that he lives in, and for Sadio Mane, the community's back home. Like, what's the Sadio Mane documentary? He's basically built the village. Do you know what I mean? The amount of things that he's done. So footballers are people that will think exactly like us. They'll want to help, and once they're in a position to do so, because most of them have come from working class backgrounds, once they're in the position to help, they will be, and they will want to. So another thing that I want to mention, I hate talking about him because he's probably riled me more than anyone during this, even maybe as much as Boris Johnson, was Matt Hancock, when he then tweeted after the news came out saying, well done to the Premier League footballers for getting on board. And it's like, fuck off. They didn't get on board because of you. They will have.
They were doing it anyway.
Yeah, they were doing it anyway. They were doing it before he'd even mentioned that. So, brilliant. Well into the footballers, and I'm glad that it was our captain that was at the forefront of it all.
Yeah. The Ben Mee interview is really good. I know he's not a Liverpool player, but he just comes across as a sound lad. And there's a decent dig in there, and obviously I'm always up for anyone offering a decent dig to anyone, really. And he says our message is a positive one, and if using our profile helps other wealthy people to review their social conscience and donate, then more the merrier. Absolutely love that. He also then goes on to say, as well as having a dig at, I think we can all work out who that's probably aimed at. He then goes on to say, but money isn't the only way we can help in this situation. We can all do our bit, whether that's just staying at home, assisting an elderly relative or neighbour, all that kind of stuff. So he just seems like, a good lad. Another one who's a good lad. And as he says in this interview, he says, we weren't all born with silver spoons in our mouths. They're just lads who have turned out good at football and have ended up with some money. Did you do the clapping for the NHS last night? It was banging for me because I went out with a spoon and a pan.
Do you know what? I feel so bad. I've done it the other times, and last night I hadn't seen. I've basically been trying to stay off social media more and stay away from the news. Like, I haven't watched the news for probably 2 weeks now, other than the odd clip that you see on social. You see the stuff that matters, or as has been said, that people see as important whenever it's clipped on social, don't you? And so I've tried to stay away from it just for my own mental well-being, because there's only so much coronavirus you can take. So to be honest, like this week I'd completely missed that it was happening. It was only I logged on about an hour later and started to read that it was happening, so I feel bad. I will do it the next time, and it did do it the previous times. But it's good to see. I mean, I saw some people clapping for Boris the other day, which I was almost sick at. But we'll move past that.
well, I was like, I was doing the clap and like cheering and all that, and then like I thought it's not loud enough. This like there are other people doing it, and like some people were setting fireworks off by ours, which and like I've seen some stuff on social media which is absolutely wild. Like people going out with like lecky guitars, like where's this going to end up? Do you know what I mean?
I like that though. I like the idea that people have just thought, right, well, it started as a club, but what can I do now? Maybe like a flare or something would be good, wouldn't it? Like just out your front. But no, it's obviously for a good cause, and like I know people that are working in the front line of the NHS, and I've seen people post on my Facebook and stuff like that like how much it means to them, and like that it does give them a boost, and they are talking about it the next day, and every little helps at this stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice thing for morale. I've seen some cynics about it saying, well, the government should be doing more, and we need to think about the longer term future of the NHS, all of that kind of thing. Totally agree, but I just think this is nice. If you're a worker, you're doing that unforgiving task right now, and then you're coming home or whatever, and you're hearing that and you're seeing that, it must feel nice. Even if it's the smallest boost in the world, it's a boost. When I was banging my pan though, I snapped me wooden spoon in half. So like banging it out the window, and then just went boof, and like I was like, what am I going to stay me spag bowl with here? And I was thinking as well, I can't make a special trip to the shop for a wooden spoon, can I? Because it's not the big shop. I did the big shop yesterday, and I can't go out just for a spoon. So spoonless.
Spoonless, yeah, another casualty in coronavirus crisis. I did. I've been doing the walks. I'm going to try and get myself to go running, but I've been doing the walks. And the other night I was walking home, and I was so thirsty. Like one of them where it'd been a proper big walk. I thought, right, I'll just dive quickly into the little corner shop that was open, and it was just me and another person. The other person had like a proper like 2 baskets of all their stuff, and there's me just buying a can of Rio. I felt like such a dickhead. I know that's against the rules, but while I'm out on my walk, come on, there's that's all right, isn't it? Really?
As long as you were still socially distant and you know what I mean, and keeping your yards. Just before we wrap up here, just a little bit about what we've been doing on the wrap and what you can get involved in. There's another hot mic tonight. There's some debate about what it's going to be. Have we decided on it yet? Is it going to be the 4-1 against Man U, or is it going to be the...
I think the problem was that the 4-1 against United's on Sky tonight, but we've just found out that the Man City game's free on LFC TV tonight. Right. So that might change people's perception. So we might have to do that poll again,
Yeah, so there's a little poll going on in the subscribers group about what game it's going to be. But either way, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a game where Liverpool have performed well. And it's going to be a game where you can come and get involved, have a bevy. You can speak to the lads who are doing it on the chat. You can watch the game with them. You can sync up what they're saying with what you're seeing on the screen. And it's just a nice way. I mean, loads of people are finding ways to socialise at the minute. Obviously, stuff over Zoom, stuff over Skype. Tim Burgess is doing his listening parties, which I've taken part in myself, and they're really, really good. It was a great idea. That hot mic is another one of those. I think, it's just a little distraction from the madness. You can get yourself a drink, you can feel social, you can feel like you're part of something, and it's dead easy. Just download the hot mic app, search for the Anfield app on the app, and is it 7:30 tonight, is it, Craig?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 7:30 tonight, jump on, turn the match on. The boys will be there. You'll be able to see them. You'll be able to get involved in the discussion, have a bevy, etc., etc. Nice thing to do on a Friday night. We've been putting out some new content as well, new little ideas. I enjoyed On the Spot. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. I'm really worried to watch it, actually, because I was dreadful at it, like really bad.
You were sad. There's no one on it where you're like, wow. It's been like to give Jordan. I think it was Jordan who edited it. And he'll be editing this, so he'll hear me say, "Hiya, Jordan. He's done a really good job on the edit, and he's put a bit of music to it and all that. But he's cut it in a nice way where it's funny. Do you know what I mean? The way like the answers are presented and stuff like that. Kev Walsh is on that as well, and he's funny on it. Like, do you know what I mean? I think there's a question, isn't he? I mean, it's a spoiler, this Soz, but it's a question where it's like, what's your favourite song currently or something? And he's like, I don't really do the music. But then he does go on to name a song, so I'm not spoiling it too much. But I enjoyed it. It was just light. It was just nice. It was a laugh. So we are trying to do bits and bobs with that. We've got, for those who know who he is, and those that read his ratings as well, there is also his Ben Johnson's Agony Hour out there, where people have said, I haven't listened to this yet. I've seen some of the reviews.
It's suitably wild. It's exactly, if you've read his ratings, you'll know exactly what it's going to be like. The feedback on it's been brilliant. People are asking about another part. Really, really funny.
Yeah, and there is footy stuff as well. I mean, there's a very in-depth discussion this week out there as a podcast on what is next for football, not just for Liverpool, for all the leagues, for football as a concept in general. Where do we go from here? There's a big discussion around that on there as well, because people have been saying that they want to listen and watch some of the weightier stuff as well. Mentioned there finding a footy fix as well, where the idea is we go and find something for you to watch, be it a documentary or whatever, a film about football. We've done 3 or 4 of them now. They're going down well as well. So yeah, get involved as well. If you're looking for something to do and you just normally watch the free stuff, jump on, download the app, go and have a look at the Anfield app's website as well, because we're carrying on writing stuff on there as well. So we're trying to keep you distracted. We're trying to keep our collective pecker up, as it were. There's
a few I just want to mention as well. First of all, the furloughing podcast on Monday. I know it was out of date about 5 hours later, but I thought it was one of the best that we've done. Like, it was fucking brilliant. But then obviously there's a reaction to them reversing the decision if you do want football. But there's this weekend there's a toss special with David Jones, who does Sky Sports Monday Night Football with Neville and Carragher, and I listened to it last week. It was done last week. It's going out on Saturday or Sunday, and it's absolutely brilliant. He's great on like talking about what Souness is like and working with Roy Keane and all of that stuff. So yeah, download the app. There's Rebecca Adlington as well went out the other day. There's a Laura Woods going out soon. Any sort of interviews, it's a cup of tea basically without the cup of tea virtually. And any sort of interviews like that kind of thing that you'd like. Obviously, you did the Jose Enrique one last week. I think we're going to put it out for free as well this weekend on YouTube. Anything like that, download the app. It'll all be on there. It's there's some really good stuff.
Yeah, so get involved. Who knows what you're doing with your Easter weekend? There's only so many things you can do. But yeah, get stuck into some chocolate. Listen to the Anfield Wrap, watch the Anfield Wrap, read the Anfield Wrap, and we'll be back next week. I think we're doing it slightly different next week. We have been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Talking Reds. I think next week we're doing Tuesday and Thursday, I think, is the plan. Just because, there's not that much to talk about. Obviously, there's some stuff. We'll always be putting stuff out. But, 3 a week right now, we thought we'll get it down to 2. And, when it ramps up again, we'll ramp up as well. So, yeah, stick with us. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy Belarusian football. Up the Reds.